during an iRacing season. Normally you have 12 to 13 weeks of hard, intense racing action, with weeks upon weeks of focusing on work, setup building, and focusing on your marks. But sometimes you need a chance to reset your mind and have a bit of fun. Today, we're about to have a lot of fun today at Summit Motorsports Park with today's coverage of the Gathering of Tweakers Demolition Derby here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good afternoon and welcome to today's interesting event here on GSRC. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the virtual booth today is Stefan Schlacker. Behind the scenes is our director Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. A very intriguing event on tap today, and a lot to discuss when it comes to some of the entertainment we're about to see today. First things first, how do you drive around this track? Let's find out with your GSRC lap guide for this 1.98 mile facility.
Welcome to Summit Point Raceway. Once the stomping grounds of IMSA and Trans Am vehicles thundering through the West Virginia mountains, this circuit is now mainly used for club racing and performance driver training. Situationed a couple hours west of Washington, D.C., there are actually two entirely separate circuits that can be tackled here on the iRacing service. The main circuit is just shy of 2 miles in length, including 10 turns, and can be chopped off into the short version, which has 9 turns and only 1.5 miles for a lap. The Jefferson Circuit is its own 1.1 mile piece of pavement with a mere 7 turns and uniquely can be run in reverse. Both tracks are astonishingly narrow and provide quite a technical challenge. On the main course, the most popular place to pass is down into the first corner hairpin. While some drivers may try a brave dive into turn 5, the frighteningly fast-kinked entry makes it prone to things going wrong quickly. Between there and turn 9, it's essentially a single-file affair with nothing but tight and twisty bends snaking their way around. The Jefferson Circuit isn't used as often, and because there are a few straights long enough to get a run on someone, most drivers are forced to wait for a mistake to pounce on. Otherwise, qualifying will be key. Believe it or not, IMSA's GT class raced here in the late 80s, and even Can-Am stopped in back in 86. While it probably sees much more competition here in the virtual world, it's easy to see why plenty of real drivers love to take their vehicles out to try and tackle this historic Appalachian venue.
That was a look at your GSRC lap guide for Summit Point here in Summit Point, West Virginia. Now let's bring my broadcast partner in Stefan Schlacker as we get ready for an intriguing one today. Your thoughts on this track, which has seen demolition derbies in the MX-5s in the past and is ready for a very interesting one today.
Yeah, very much so, Justin. Most definitely going to be an interesting track here, especially for this demo. We have 10 turns, but I'm very sure that a lot of people are gonna cut some of those 10 turns, so don't be surprised to see some cars shooting across the grass here, especially at the very north of this track. 1.98 miles, as I already said, or 3.2 kilometers is the normal length of this track, so it should be very interesting. The danger zones, well, quite simply, as long as you're in this line of sight of a car behind, you are very much in the danger zone. Passing zones, well, it's a demo derby, and anywhere can be a passing zone if you have the guts to push your car to the limits and push your car into the next car ahead of you. So, should be very interesting. Track limits, there won't be any in place. So, as said, they will shoot across the track whenever they very much can.
I mean, this shot is, I think, a perfect example of what we should expect to see here down this front straightaway. We've seen at least 3 drivers do donuts, 4 cut across the track, and at least several crash into the tire barriers. A lot is in store for today. With that point, let's take a look towards your details as these cars apparently decide to go backwards down the racetrack in preparation for today. As mentioned, we are in the Global Mazda MX-5s today, unlimited fast repairs for this Demolition Derby. It's a team event where several drivers are organized with one another. 20 total teams was the max for registration, up to 60 drivers, 45 minutes on the clock. The first driver for that respective team wins said race for their respective organization today here for the Gathering of Tweakers Demolition Derby. So an interesting format and an interesting race and a very entertaining front straightaway, let's put it that way, as you can already see.
I think interesting, exciting, entertaining, those are going to be the three main words here today. Because we all know these guys, they most definitely like each other, they know each other very well, and you know, they just want to blow off some steam, and we're very happy to cover it for them.
And that's in reference to the car that was smoking down the front stretch. But there's about 5 minutes left towards practice. Before we talk about a little bit more about the details of the event, I want to quickly ask, are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. Follow the link in the description to the YouTube version of this broadcast today to learn more about the Global SimRacing Channel. Lots of drivers have been doing preparation now for about 55 minutes, 1 hour of practice on tap, 5 minutes of qualifying in just a few moments. The track conditions fairly cool as the in-sim day and time is iRacing Day, May 15, 2020, 8:47 a.m., 27 degrees Celsius, that's 81 degrees Fahrenheit track, 24 degrees air temp Celsius, 76 Fahrenheit with very gusty winds. So a bit on the cooler side as to be expected for it being 8 in the morning for what's expected to be, well, a very hotly contested race, trying to make sure you don't run into cars stopped along the front stretch. Stefan.
Well, yeah, you said it. You have to be careful to not run into any cars on the front stretch or pretty much anywhere that are parked right now. So it should be interesting. Obviously, we do have a qualifying time, but I would be surprised if some guys just want to be the lowest car on the grid possible because, that's the best shot you have at not getting rammed right into turn 1 already, and have to already get a fast repair, of which, as you already said, they have unlimited fast repairs.
Yeah, we're actually talking a little bit about this, including one of the last times there was a Demolition Derby. The best example was 2017, when the Hünkenfeld MX-5 World Tour did a Demolition Derby at that time, where it was at this track with this layout. Some of the drivers up towards the front were okay. There was a bit of bumping and banging. Then he had about 5 drivers do a shortcut to take the race lead, and about 10 more going full throttle and sending cars into the tire barrier. So it could be an interesting start for that point you were talking about, Stefan.
Yeah, most definitely, and you never know what you're gonna get because they are allowed to cut the track as much as they want, anywhere they want. So we might actually see a few people to cut the front stretch in half, like you have on a short layout, and then also cut the top of the track away. So to already get quite a bonus on everybody else behind them. It is a valid strategy. It is one that could work, but in reality, it's a 45-minute race, so anything can and probably will happen to your car.
As you can see on the left side of your screen, top driver on the board right now is Lucas Jurich with a 123.404. Then it's Jim Baslav is in third in terms of practice times overall. But as mentioned, you can see the colors now on the left side of your screen with the respective numbers. That represents the respective organization they're with, where you'll see the matching colors for these respective groups matching up to what you see on the bottom right to the bottom corner for the respective team names. For example, the one you see here with Van Hinkel, he's trying to get around this racetrack in his respective car in the bottom part of the board at the moment. But his organization in reference is the Sad Honk Honkers. So, as we were talking about moments ago, if you take the checker flag, you win for that respective organization that you see there. For example, another one is, well, Fat and Furious. As you can see, lots of fun with the team names today.
Yeah, most definitely. They had their fun. They had their fun painting the cars. They had their fun naming their teams. I'm not sure right now if it's randomly selected the teams or if they have some meaning by it, but most definitely a very competitive field that we're going to see out there.
And keep in mind, many of these drivers have been racing against and with one another for about 5 years or so. For those who not know, Tweakers, the name part of Gathering of Tweakers, is in reference actually to an independent website called Tweakers that is based in the Netherlands, which is a website that touches on technology, touches as well on electronics, is also big in Belgium. It's one of the top 20 most visited websites in the Dutch language part of the internet. It was voted the website of the year a couple times last decade. Many of these drivers have been racing since 2016 with GoT. That's when the iRacing portion of Tweakers started to go play with one another and became Gathering of Tweakers.
Yeah, so a lot of history goes into this series, this organization. So yeah, as I said, they know each other for a very long time. They're racing together and against each other for a very long time. So yeah, you have to get off your steam sometimes because some of the battles not always tend to end your way.
As you can see on the track, qualifying has now wrapped up. Well, practice has now wrapped up, should say, for the start of said qualifying. And now it's going to be interesting which drivers elect to start towards the back and which drivers, well, elect to get some practice and others who just elect to start towards the front and hope they don't get rear-ended. 071, for example, is the first man on the racetrack. This is Junkers, who is trying to put in a decent time. He's one of about 20 plus who have hit the track already.
Yeah, this is the time where we are gonna see the strategies played out. They have 2 laps to set their qualifying time, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody goes out on their first flying lap and then, yeah, park it and wait until the time nearly lapses and then set their qualifying time to be as far back as possible.
Yep, 5 minutes, 2 sole qualifying laps. This is a very quick road course, mind you, because it's in the ballpark of almost a short track when you think about it for when it comes to road course racing. Normally you don't see a road course under 2 miles, let alone 3 miles. As you can see on screen, by the way, some of the drivers, meanwhile, are taking the time to contemplate some of their decision making for today, as you can see. Others, they're trying to contemplate trying to put in some quick speed down the straightaways for this qualifying session. So, who are some of the drivers you think we should watch today, based on your experience, Stefan, with MX5 racing, whether it's from the performance side or whether it's the ability to avoid whatever tries to come and hit them?
Well, the most dominant names in that category would probably most definitely be Baslop and Nick van Tissen. Nick Tissen, obviously, he's one of the biggest guys development side on iRacing. He is the main factor behind ATVO, for example. So he has a lot of experience, not only with iRacing driving-wise, but also the software. So he also races a lot. He has seen a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to avoid a few bullets that are gonna come his way. Obviously, MX5 shape both, that is. Maybe we're also gonna see some of the faster guys like Lucas van Gerrit. He is one of the fastest guys in that MX5 field right now. He was the main guy in practice with a 23.404. So it should be interesting. I don't really know if there is a clear marking on someone who can win it all.
Especially with this type of event with under 2 minutes to go in qualifying, only 3 drivers, just 3, have put up a time so far. Most of them are approaching the end of their laps or had incident points around this respective circuit, as up to the board goes Jim Portroy's with a 123.863. Nick Thiessen, you mentioned him, in a 123.5, puts him up on top by more than 0.3 of a second. A majority of the field up to 3-4 seconds off the pace of your pole time so far. Of note, one of the drivers who is one of those who are way off the pace in the pole time, Baslov. You talked about it potentially, how do I put this politely, sandbagging their time to make sure they weren't in the worst position for a demolition derby like this, where you need to find that middle ground, Stefan.
Yeah, could be, or he's just, feeling in the car right now, and he's going for a fast one right now as he is on his second lap. Right now, also, we have to keep an eye on that. The last guy right now to be in qualifying with a 31.470. That's Emil Koopman's 25th position. Still a lot of people need to put in their qualifying time if they want to. Probably a lot won't elect to put one in.
Some of the cars you see trying to put in times are the ones you see now on your screen. Up towards the board, once again up towards the very middle of the board this time. But the qualifying time goes to the red machine. Nick Thiessen has the pole time now by just about a tenth of a second. Did not put in a second lap stop before the start and finish line for that respective lap. So, final few moments of qualifying already. That's how quick it can go here at Summit Point. Keep in mind, this is a track where drivers on the road course side race on the rookie side for their licenses. So many of these drivers, it's one of the first circuits they experience. Let's see how these drivers will line up for this experience today in the GoT Demolition Derby. Nick Thiessen starts on the pole today with a 1:23.5, with Jim Hurtwise in second. Lucas Jarrett starts in third with Bas Slump up to fourth in the dying moments of the session. Did put in a 1:23.7 once the tires got up to heat. Van Handel starts in fifth today with Williamson in sixth. Skeppers, along with Mulders, Lormans, and Van Handel in regards to the 163. Will handle the top 10 Stefan.
Gavin Kelly just outside the top 10, about 23/1000 of a second separated him from that position, with Jori Steinmetz in 12th, Maurice Quern-Duckers in 13th, Bob Stevens 14th, Martin Bowman will round out to top 15 with Steen Snapp in 16th, Aaron Nennings in 17th, Jonkers 18th, John Koenig in 19th, and Nadia to top 20. It will be Sean Messink.
Roger Smulders 21st, Zerville 22nd, Zedam in 23rd, Schipauer in 24th, Wuzzles, Smeekens, Lan, Vanderbrink, along with Snyders and Vandergraaf round out your top 30.
Evan Termia 31st, Nico van Elk, Emil Koopmans, he is the last car to put in a qualifying time in 33rd out of 43 drives, by the way. Jori Mathiesen 34th, 35th went to Messink, the second one. Vincent Ravislot's 36th, Bob Blanc in 37th, and 38th was Rosendahl, 39th, Diesenblum, and 40th, Paul Muller.
So look at your starting grid for today. Expect to be a good one. Stefan, your quick thoughts.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting. It should be interesting, especially to see what strategies people put on when they come to turn 1. Will somebody take that shortcut to gain an early advantage?
All the drivers are on the grid. We're all set to go. The 2020 edition of the Gathering of Tweakers Demolition Derby is underway, and several drivers have already jumped the start. Others are jumping 2-3 wide. Question is, which drivers will try and take the shortcut and try and go straight to Wagon Bend? One nearly spins it through the cones, a couple others spinning at the very back of the field already in Demolition Derby fashion, while the front of the field nice and clean up until the cars sent off into the grass and the sand trap.
Yeah, we got about 400 cars right now in the gravel trap out of turn 1. I think that was a little bit too many, but that's alright, as we have a leading group of 4 cars entering turn number 3 as a few cars enter from the right. That's gonna cause some troubles, maybe. No, it's not actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, those are several of the drivers who are just involved in the stack up at the back, but Van Handel's now in the lead. Nick Thiessen is up to second spot, though. Will he try and take a short track? No. He will try and run along as Jim Hurtwise spins it into the tire barrier from third, while one takes the shortcut through the grass.
Yeah, Niels van Handelen right now the first driver to take the normal route. Jori Mathiesen is one of those drivers that did successfully cut the track, and he is immediately gonna try to spin himself out. Try again, try again, try again.
Eventually, some of these drivers are going to teleport through the trees the way they're trying to drive, or at least want that to be their case. By the end of the first lap, Nick Thiessen with a very quick start, and Nick Thiessen with a very entertaining beginning to this race. Already at least 10 drivers on the tow truck.
And so at least one of my drivers that I mentioned is still somewhat close to winning that. Obviously, we're still having pretty much 45 minutes to go in this race, but Nick Thiessen, he is doing a phenomenal job for his team.
Yes, indeed, the top 5 are broken away right now. The drivers step separate on back. Well, half the field is already nearly 35 seconds behind. Already for second through the sand trap. That's Van Handel. Niels Van Handel can't get the grip to stick, though. Sand's not the best way to grip the racetrack. Let's put it that way.
No, unless you're at Daytona Beach in a few decades back, it's not the best way to race around.
This and still holding on to a 0.6 of a second advantage. Now the fight is between the 4 cars as Bob Stevens is already up +9, rounding up the top 5, watching on. These cars already with some damage, and to put this in perspective, for the Demolition Derby part of things, already 26 cars are still rolling. All but 13 had to use a fast repair, and already one more car punted. That was for third, Williamson. Bumping running his way for third.
And this is going to get interesting now for our leaders of this race, because there are cars that have just exited pit lane just ahead of them. Hans Smekens and Jasper van Doornemalen, 2 of those drivers. Let's see how Nick, the 041, is going to handle those 2.
That's Team Recycling still up towards the front, while 2 of the yellow cars with 2 different teams look to truffle forward, and one swings and misses for your race leader. Now the question is, will Smekens swing and miss? No, he'll swing to the sand and not get up there quite yet, while the 27th place car races side by side with the 2nd place. He ends up getting punted as a result.
Oh, and he swings and misses another time on Nick Thiessen as a car ahead of him spins out. Hans Smekens now side by side with your race leader, as it seems Smekens just tries to survive right now himself, but he might be subject to get punted by your leader.
Indeed, they'll pass by a couple drivers who are currently having fun in the grass. As Slope, meanwhile, has now joined the drivers with a 2nd fast repair already in this race. Thiessen still watching, nearly punts the car in front. Looking like he's actually playing this very carefully so far, Stefan. With this lap traffic, I think he knows if he gets in front of him, he's likely going for a ride.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's have a look. He's now side by side with Smekens. I think that's actually in 2nd place his teammate of Nick Thiessen. That's your Williamson in also a blue and a white car.
Yes, you're indeed correct. Also teammate with Baslop, who we mentioned is already done at a fast repair. He's in 23rd. So now the lap traffic, and one car blows up in front of the leader. That's Roger Smulders. So Williamson is now in the race lead as a result of that, and let's take a look as, well, that's an efficient way to take someone with you with a blown motor.
Most definitely so, and I don't think that was even planned, but Nick Thiessen with that, he's actually bonk stuck in a wall.
So he'll have to use the tow. So that puts us already under 10 drivers who have not had to use a fast repair. Did we mention we're just past 5 minutes in? Welcome to the world of Demolition Derby racing, where Williamson now leads by 1.8 seconds. The downside, if you're Williamson, eventually more cars are going to come out of the pit lane in just a few moments. Despite the fact he is the fastest car on the racetrack, there's still the chances of everything that can happen. Specifically, a couple more drivers are slow on the bottom of the racetrack this time, and one tried to take a swing, one tries to take a softer swing, and able to get through cleanly as both the drivers end up missing while 2nd gets punted.
Didn't succeed on the first try, succeeded on the 2nd one.
Like I said, some drivers off the start just went full throttle when there was a demo derby in 2017. You can see right here, backs it up, makes it look okay, I'm gonna let you go. Nope. Sends you off to the sand trap, so move Niels Van Handel out of P2. Steinmetz and Sapp and Blanc, meanwhile, by the way, are fighting hard for P3, should note. They're grouped up within about half a tenth of one another. See down on screen right now, these are among the last drivers who have not had to pit yet so far, despite, well, being very demolished on the front noses.
Yeah, very much so. And actually, we had just a very interesting interaction between Williamson and the lap car, as Elsa now was backing up to get Williamson his bumper torn apart. But it didn't work, and now he tried to also dive bomb him, and that didn't work either. So still, your race leader continues to be Williamson, but he's getting held up now. Oh! Come on, Wilson.
And he's still trying to get around him. Now he gets a bit of contact. Can Williamson save it for the lead? Able to hold on. Now gets some help. He is still sliding. Still a decent cushion, though, for the race lead, but that cushion, well, it's completely been destroyed. And now his car is overheated for the tires. Welcome to sliding the tires. Those tires are heated up, and your battle now for the lead is about to get fun because Williamson is going to come out right in front of Steinmetz and Blanc now. So, Stefan, that's your lesson in the Demo Derby on how to gain 21 seconds. And now, how to take the lead.
Mullen with the slam dunk of Williamson right into the tire barrier. Steinmetz now your new leader, as there is also a replay on Williamson.
Yeah, and it looks like, okay, I'm driving, focusing on behind, and then there's a car right there who has been in the grass. So some bad luck in live action. Williamson has also just been punted again. I think by the same car, in fact, in the 091, or at least the same color scheme. So now your race lead is down to 2 cars. It's still now Blanc in the lead now. Steinmetz has lost the lead to the purple car in the 033. They do have a friend, though, and Wessels gets sent around for his troubles.
He tried to brake check Blanc, but that really backfired on him.
So now Blanc leads by 0.7 of a second. The question is for how long this time? By the way, that's Team Antagonist who is up at the front in those purple cars today. We'll have to see how he handles all those teal cars. I'll be curious here as, again, we've seen how crazy some of the traffic is. That's Johnny Koning, who is in 19th, who is right in front of the race leaders. And then it's Paul Muller, who is trying to brake check everybody.
Oh, and there comes the swing from second place. Steinmetz, Blanc around, does a quick 180 and gets going again. Wessel's nowhere near him, so he is going to be good for now.
You say that, but those cars who we just seen stopping on the track in front of one another are right here. Paul, he gets bumped and ran off the track, and now off into the sand goes Steinmetz. So just like that, Blanc is now in the race lead. Now, Blanc, though, has a teammate. This is where the teammate play can come into play right here. And there goes some more time for Steinmetz.
That was a good job, though, by Steinmetz. He slowed down and right into the quarter panel to spin that car around and not lose too much time with another incident, as Muller tried to do a job on Blanc, but that didn't work. He sends Brink, though, into the... right into the bridge.
And there goes Blanc now into the sand, in fact, while Steinmetz drives right on by. Leonard Van Handel is also now up to second, who is getting blocked like crazy by more teammates. Alec Mesnick is still trying to hold on. Here's a look as off and away goes the 031. Off into the shortcut he goes.
And more problems for Steinmetz as he has to spin a car around and might be subject to get spun around himself. No, doesn't seem like so. So Steinmetz good for now as Koning passes him.
This is just absolute insanity, to say the very least, today. And again, this is the theme of a demo derby, right? You're looking to have fun. You're looking to have the chance to actually have all of the incident points you can, to say the very least. But Steinmetz holding on to the lead for now. Once again, and as we've seen, no lead is safe. There are now 4 cars right up the racetrack this time, the carousel in the S's. Leonard Van Handel, he's got a chance to close in. Oh, by the way, believe one of his fellow car mates is up the racetrack who has just turned someone into the middle of the racetrack in the S's.
Oh, and there's a big kerfuffle right out of Steinmetz. Somehow splits the gap and makes it still happening.
And his teammate is actually trying to turn someone with a blown motor, and Steinmetz says, you know what? You got a blown motor, I'll help you fix your damage by sending you into the trees. Nice friendly job there as Leonard Van Handel is now in the mix. Koning, though, is right on behind, and here comes the army of fast repair drivers, including right into the racing line. Steinmetz now goes to the forest. And now Van Handel is your race leader, just like that. Leonard Van Handel now holds on to the lead by 15 seconds with an army of cars ready to whack him. And there he goes into the sand to the tires.
My goodness, that yellow car.
Yeah. I mean, if you feel like you can help your teammate, right, may as well give him a meatball flag. As Van Handel is now stuck against the wall and trying to get over a hill.
Oh, he might be stuck. He can't do that. Yes, he has to tow back to the pits, so that's his lead most definitely gone. As both our leader and second place are right now sitting in pit lane awaiting that tow back. Bob Blanc still is racing third place. He's the only driver to not have used a fast repair yet.
Are you trying to jinx it, my friend? Because Sap is now your leader. And now Sap nearly gets turned as he is now the leader. The next car has already used 2 fast repairs, as mentioned. Niels Van Handel, who has already finished his service for his respective fast repair, by the way. And here comes the sandwich with him. Are you not entertained? You were saying, Stefan?
Yeah, I see nothing wrong with all this. It's just move along, nothing to see here. It's all fun, it's all nice and good racing. As Stin Snap is going to take over the lead here any moment now, as he's going to get past Steinmetz and Van Handel, who are still in pit lane. There he goes past now, and he's officially your new leader of this race about 15 minutes in.
Question is, how long again?
Oh, here comes Mathiesen, Boom!
And bye-bye. And off towards the garage he goes. So there's a little secret to get to Grandma's house to get some cookies while you go to the garage. Just send it to the access road. And now Bob Stevens is now in the race lead for now.
Yeah, Bob Blanc actually took a fast repair, so he is only a second back as there's another brake check on Bob Stevens. He's able to somewhere avoid that. So now also here comes the car behind, gets a little push there. Another push for good measures. Oh, he actually brakes check. That was a bad idea. Gets sent to the radar shadow on. No. Lucky break for Stevens.
And Stevens, though, has lost several positions. Now Bob Blanc, though, is having the fun of, well, he gets to bump draft a purple and black car and send him to the grass this time. That's Robert Smulders, who decides to do donut parties and smack the cars in second on back. Messink hit him, as well as a couple others. Stevens is no longer the leader, as mentioned. Blanc is still now leading by still 5 seconds. As it is pandemonium here into the paddock bend this time.
Van Elk versus Blanc. Who is going to come out on top on that battle? Blanc, your current leader of this race. Is he going to do the pit maneuver? Yes, he is. Oh, that's backfired. Dylan him somehow keeps the car straight there.
Not sure why you would do the pit maneuver on a car when you're the race leader, but I guess it's the thought process of, I'll do it before you can. By the way, Sap has already used his fast repair and still getting a long tow of more than nearly 2 minutes. Eric Holzmans is now out of the race, your first DNF in this Demolition Derby Spectacular. P2, remember him? The 123 who was sent off the track about 10 minutes ago, trying to get around 2 others who are trying to send each other into the sand to have some kiddie play time.
So Shepard's right now 10.5 seconds roughly away from P1, and then there's another 4 seconds back to Jim Hertois, who he is faster than Shepard, so might be able to catch him. Although we're at the Demo Derby and anything can happen as a racer.
Should
he's
know.
having someone behind.
Well, perfect thing to note actually, because Elsinore is actually not going to try and send him yet. Question is, if he does, with Pascal Lan trying to turn him into a sandwich instead, Elsinore gets punted by Williamson. By the way, in terms of Williamson, still in the 20s as Pandemonium in front. That is P2 who's gone around. Steinmetz is also now up to third now after his fast repair usage. So decent recovery for Steinmetz as he now tries to get around Williamson, who seems to be playing the role of being a battering ram after being the leader early on in this race. Well, he tried. I think we've both seen that coming, Stefan. Now the question is, look at that zoo that's up the road. It's going to be fun to try and dodge all of that. Eric Nannings, by the way, from the top 5.
Oh.
He's had to use a toe, and there goes your race leader, Steinmetz, back to the lead.
Yeah, Jim Hertois, he is no longer second. That surely has done a lot of damage to his rear. Somehow he's continuing, but yeah, his car is crooked. So Hertois will have to use another fast repair. Steinmetz might also seize, and no, he was able to avoid that. So he continues in second. Your leader continues to be Bob Blanc, who is in pit lane.
Yes, that's because he's used a toe, so that means your actual leader is Steinmetz in. There he goes. That was a hit for position, believe. And now, Hurt Royce will try and catch up, is already up to the lead. No, it's Shepkers, who ended up bumping his way past the 0-2-1 for the race lead. So now the race leaders are bumper to bumper, heading into a sandwich. Steinmetz gets doored off the track. The leaders get doored off the track. Everyone's in the grass. Now, several cars are spinning as they're 5 wide, going through the S's, back down to 3 wide, as now lap cars brake check one another. The leaders ran away, and now Steinmetz has 2 cars turn each other to get up to second. Now a car stopped in the middle of the racetrack. They dodge an orange car as a blue car slows down on the racing line, all while another decides to use their fast repair. That's how the lead is now 7 seconds in the span of 1 lap. By the way, estimated 18 to go, not including how many times drivers will have to avoid 16 wide roadblocks as one car tries to send the cones to Grandma's house too.
Shepard somehow was just able to avoid 2 cars trying to crash him, and there's another car, Get Discipline, tries to do that as well, and he failed on that task as Aaron Shepard continues to be racing in first place.
How would I put this race so far? When it comes to racing a Demolition Derby, especially with fun events like this, Stefan, it's almost like, as a driver, you need to be like that meme where you have that dog with a cup of coffee with everything on fire around him and saying, this is fine. This is totally fine. I think if you're some of these drivers, you're saying, this is fine. I can wait and see what happens to my opponents. This is fine.
Basically, yeah, you summarized that very well, and now here comes Martin Seeveld. Let's see if that is going to have an impact on the drive of Aaron Shepard, as it seemed like the Martin was waiting on Shepard here. As he's waiting to the right side, Shepard does brake for him, and that is going to leave a door open for Shepard. Maybe not, as they go door to door, and that's a wall hit. Shepard goes around. Is able to continue with a straight car. Yes, he actually is.
Give it a moment, because there's 3 cars stopped at the pit exit for some reason, and now the lead's down to 0.3 of a second. What will Steinmetz do? He's been able to use the bumper a couple times. The problem is, they have the 152 as a buffer car. 152 elects to actually brake just a touch later, no hold up, but they have Ron Schneider's just up the road in the 147. There goes your race leader, and now you have a new leader.
Yeah, now Steinmetz is your new leader, but he is still following quick duckers. Let's see what is happening here. Is there once again a few cars slow, and Muller?
Everybody living up to the name of being the Rammy so far today, and not want to be the one who gets rammed off the racetrack. Now the gap is up to 5 seconds, Just shows again how much this can all change in one day. So, your thoughts on what the drivers are probably thinking in their head right now, seeing everything catch on fire around them, including the racetrack, it seems.
Well,
as there goes your leader.
Yeah, Shepard gets a bullet for the second time in this lap, actually. As, yeah, there's another one, and that was Riverslot trying to hit him. And yeah, well, there's only two thoughts that are in the heads of our drivers. It's either I'm speed or I got a ram.
Or in the new leader, Steinmetz, by the way. Nick is up to third in the 041, by the way. So he's got a chance to gain times because he's just got hit, so scratch that point. By the way, he can get up to second because a faster pair has been used, while more cars decide to flip themselves over underneath the final bridge heading to the paddock bend. Have to say, those neon yellow cars have been very willing to basically become moving chicanes. On the bright side, if you're the race leader, not too many of them around you for the next 3 seconds.
It's good for you, Steinmetz, but there are 3 cars. One of them, it is a little bit slow, so there might be something happening to Steinmetz here very soon. Especially that black and red car here on the outside right ahead of him. Let's see what happened. Oh, there might be some kerfuffle between those two as he spins them all around. Fixes that problem, and there's Jupp Willemsen upside down.
So the City Slickers car gets sent around, but here comes again the City Slickers car. Took the shortcut, believe. In front of these respective cars, may have just missed them, in fact. So Steinmetz going to have to dodge one car bouncing off the safer barrier. That is the 13th place car. So Steinmetz has actually been very impressive today. In your experience, what's your thoughts on how Steinmetz is as a driver, especially being able to survive this? All while drivers like Slob, they've been able to get up to the third spot because, well, there's cars on fire, but also because his teammates are on fire, but also your thoughts overall, because everyone's catching on fire.
Well, yeah, everybody's catching on fire because there's so much carnage going on as your Steinmetz just get rammed into the rear. And the thing is, you have to be really quick. Nick Tyson is going on an adventure right now here at Summit Point as he rejoins the track. But yeah, you have to be quick, but also you have to have a good knowledge of what the car ahead of you is doing. And it seems like Steinmetz most definitely has that field covered, because most of the times he's quite able to avoid the wrecks.
I want to touch upon one thing, by the way, and this is the chance for drivers to get some last thousands of rammings in, because next Tuesday with the brand new build, there's actually a new damage model coming to these MX-5, so this is one of the last major events that these drivers will get the chance to run with this respective damage model and, well, demolish their cars in this fashion. Eventually, these bumpers are going to be flying across the racetrack in the future for demo derbies.
In reality, that makes it just more interesting, because then you have all of these drivers that have to be a little bit careful about how and where they are ramming, because parts can also fly off their cars.
Yeah, not just the tempers of the drivers and the cars flying into the sky and the cars flying into the trees here at Summit Point with some of the limits on the outside. Steinmetz meets his best friend again. Off and away goes Mower once again off into the grass. Seems to really like that guy, as you can probably tell.
2 moving chicanes right out of Steinmetz into turn 1. He avoids both skillfully, but not the driver behind.
Yes, indeed. And I want to talk about some of the other drivers, because there have been drivers up to 6 faster pairs who are inside the top 12. Remember the 012, for example. Lucas is currently one of the drivers looking for good track position. He's been bounced around a lot, but in turn, able to get on forward, has had 6 stops in this race and not stopping to stop for said chicane there, for example. In turn, might get a chance to move up more spots because he's gained 2 now that his competitors have gone into the grass themselves, and others well, they just completely missed the corner.
Yeah, Garrett is also doing a good job. Yes, he has been in the pit 6 times, but still shows how good he is as a driver on that MX-5, because otherwise he wouldn't be up to 9th place already.
Should note that Niels Van Handel has had to use a fast repair from the top 5. He's now 6th. So back rolling once again, and you can see rolling right towards the racing line. On the bright side, he's got some clean space, as you can see. By the way, your leader's been wrecked again. Steinmetz is upside down and off the track. One car tried to ram him again, but launched into the sky instead.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting there from Steinmetz. He rammed the car right out of him, or rather got rammed, and then tried to make the pit entrance, and failed.
Well, that was fun. Well, not if you're Steinmetz, because that's going to be a longer tow as a result by about 40 seconds, but on the bright side, you're still on the track afterwards. 123 is now your leader, with Baslob already up to 2nd spot. And all of this, 20 seconds back of this car you see in the red and black machine. Here's a look as, yes, does have a few friends in front of him, but a few rivals who have been playing the villain car in front of him. He's had 5 stops, by the way, today, Stefan, as one car stops to avoid a tree.
Fast slop there. That's teammate play for him right there. Yep, Williamson spun around the car out of him to give himself a clear track, and you might be able to see something like that for a few more teams, where 2 or all 3 of them are lining up with the car that is further up the ranks, just in the rear, and the first 2 are trying to pretty much get everybody out of the way.
By the way, Steinmetz just came out of the pit lane as well, and how important is it to have friends for something like this, to be around and have almost as a support person?
Oh,
to make
most
sure
definitely. Yeah, most definitely it is a very important part. A little bit shocked that nobody did think of that earlier, because with the team size of being 3 cars for each team, Steinmetz goes around there on screen. You can basically have someone and wreck the guy that tries to wreck you and not have that kind of trouble. Oh, that just went backwards for Williamson. He spun a car right out of Baslop, and that spun Baslop, did spin right into Baslop, and now Baslop is very damaged himself. If I can get my words out here.
Well, Bass ended up getting his car up in the air. Here's a look, because, yeah, as you can see, both of them bounced up into the sky and broke their suspensions. The bright side, if you're Bass, you're still rolling. The downside, if you're Williamson, believe he may have got the worst of it. Here's a look from Bass.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give them an 8.5 on the execution. Their synchronicity was a little bit off on those 2, but it's worth a try.
And he's still going in team recycling, and now he's going backwards because Steinmetz tried to turn him. Perfect 360 move, and Steinmetz rewards him by smacking in his door. So under 15 minutes to go on the clock, and this car, by the way, is still in 2nd. Problem, 37 seconds is the gap. The car in front has only had to pit twice in this race. And he might have to come in for a 3rd eventually, as you can see. And yes, indeed, meatball flag. Now the question's going to be... Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, is he going to be able to come out with a decent gap is the question. The pit delta when you use the 1 second fast repair is about 15 seconds in the pits.
Well, no doubt Baslop is going to have to pit in himself, so the next car in line would be Ruud Mulders, who is also quite a ways behind, so Aaron Shepers is already out once again and driving away into the distance.
And Slob actually just got punted into the pit entrance wall, in fact, by one of the teammates to Mulders. Still able to get into the lane, but look at this. Huge send from behind. Tried to ram him into the wall. Believe that car ended up actually coming out with them, and Slope tried to actually turn him coming out of the pit lane. Now, the gap actually increased, in part because he lost time at his entry. You can guess why.
as I think Bob Blanc just had a spin himself out of the pit entrance.
Where is Bass going? Okay, so Slob has actually decided apparently to go in the sand, completely missed the corner, and now, wonder if it's because drivers like Blanc are coming, or the leader. Curious here, because he missed the whole turn 1 complex, and now your leader, as a result, now was up in front of Motors by 25 seconds at the other end of the racetrack, and just dodged an additional car who was stopped in the track. And this is not working out for him, as you can see, because now there's some help. And off and away to the forest he goes. Just keeps it going, though. Any further, that car is going to the garage.
Yeah, that was about a car length there between Shepherds and the Shadow Realm, so good job on getting those binders in time. As Van den Brink might try something here. No, he's too early.
So the 072 likely about to take the race lead. No, he's actually coming down to the pit lane. And surprised here in part because one car just got sandwiched in the pit wall, but two, curious that he has to get damaged. So Steinmetz staying on the track for now. I'm curious actually on this one because drivers were talking about potential fuel mileage. Do you even have to think about that in a demo derby, Stefan?
Normally not, but in a long event like this, 45 minutes, you might have to, but I think they should be all good. I think, if I remember correctly, the MX-5 can't go 60 minutes on one.
Normally. That's why I was thinking about that there. Drivers were talking about that a little bit in practice, but Steinmetz, your new race leader, is no longer your leader. It's Motors who came in to use some service, and now the purple cars have a nice party playing in their sandcastle. So Motors in a great position now. Approaching 10 minutes to go on the clock. As we've seen, that doesn't mean too much because drivers like this continue to get spun and try and take out their top 5 competitors so they can take them with them down the tile line.
Yeah, and that was actually teammate play there. Bas Lop, his teammate right ahead of him, that is Job Williamson once again. He did spin out Shepherds, so Bas Lop can easily get past that. So these guys most definitely have that teamwork perfected. Look at that.
And those two in the infield, I think, are not happy with each other. That's Sidam, who is spinning around. That just came around with that purple car. So the two teammates, as you're saying, were hooked up. Now it's the question of, can Williamson continue to play the battering ram for his teammate to make sure there is no more damage on that car? Remember, Motors just used the fast repair a lap ago. The problem is, remember that orange car we were talking about? Well, one of his teammates is right there without a hood. And another just came out of the pits. And now, into the barriers goes Motors, so check that. Move the blue cars up to the race lead. Team Recycling now up to the front.
Stevens in behind, though. Might be trying something here. He is now your new P2. But that's going to be a tough ask. Now look at that, Bas Lop and Job Williamson. They switch positions because they know Stevens is in behind.
Well, they don't have Steinmetz to worry about anymore because, well, you see that right there. That was another teammate play. But Stevens, who has lost a little bit of ground here. Stevens, well, for all it's worth, is on about a few lap old tires, believe, at this point. A few more spins. But again, I don't know if you're thinking about that because you may be thinking about the 3-car stack up for the race lead in front of you. That is Slop that got the worst of it. Now Williamson tries to hold him up. Now we have teammates 2 by 2 working together up here in tandem.
It is going to get interesting. Does Stint try something here on Bas Lop? Because remember, his teammate is just behind Bas Lop, Bob Stevens. Second place, but no, seems like Sub is not interested in that right now, as Rosendahl gets spun around.
It's Team Track Q now up towards the front. Well, Bob, as you mentioned, Slop losing some more time. He's got a significant amount of damage again, and I believe this is the 3rd straight lap, Stefan. We've seen the 1, 4, 2, or 3 the past 4 have to use a fast repair. As a result, there's 6 estimated laps to go. How many we get to is going to be interesting. We're now on lap 23 technically in this race, as your new leader just avoids a car cutting across the racetrack, misses his braking mark because of it.
Yeah, so that brings in himself to Job Williamson and also to Juri Steinmetz. So first and second nose to tail with Job Williamson on a mission to slow these guys down for Baslop.
Meanwhile, super teammate in Job Williamson. Brake check to race leader for some front damage. Here comes another one. The 1-3-1 trying to wreck the leaders as he gets turned. Huge hit from behind. Williamson trying to turn him into a sandwich. Couldn't do so though, as all the pepperonis fly around in the backdrop. Now another sandwich as Steinmetz gets significant damage. He might have to come in again for a faster pair as the leaders spin around. Where's Baslop now in all of this? Closing in as now the two teammates work together. And now Bass is in the grass, and I believe he might miss the corner. Surprised he didn't elect to take the course cut there at least and then sacrifice the time. On the bright side, he might gain it back here because now they're wrecking again nearly.
And that was Steinmetz around the he just passed, so he's now P2. Actually P1 because it was Bob Stevens there.
And another swing and a miss right in the backdrop now, coming under 7 minutes to go in this race. Slob trying to hold on. He doesn't have Williamson around him. Well, check that. His teammate just came rolling again from the side of the racetrack. I wonder why. Well, he's not going to be heated anymore because Stevens just got sent up by another car. So you can tell right now Team Recycling is thinking about stuff. And except they didn't need to have the friendship there in that case. His car is busted. Look at this.
Right to go straight. NASCAR style.
This is not going to be very good for him. Let's put it that way. Massive suspension damage to this car. Normally you have this in a race-to-thon and you're done.
Yeah, normally. But good thing is we have those fast repairs, so he's all alright. As Baslop just gets molested by Stin Sap going into turn number 4.
And couldn't bring Steinmetz with him. Now your race leader. Gets around some of the teamworks. Whoa! Still gets turned around by Sap. Who is that who missed?
My goodness.
What in the world was that?
Couldn't have planned that. Shot the gap just between those two. That was just about a car width. But still Baslop was spun around eventually there. What a moment.
Whoever that was, you missed and missed a lot. As you he went so much that he went to the tires. Bass, meanwhile, your leader is coming in as expected, might have had some damage, and now he's spinning. And this is going to be pretty crucial here for drivers like Steinmetz to gain time because he's still bouncing off the wall. Steinmetz is still approaching the paddock bend this time.
I think should be good, but just about now, as that was actually teammate of Baslop that he just spun out, so good job by your Steinmetz. That's that. There's Slop coming out of the pit lane, and that lead has closed in very much as your Steinmetz is now approaching the end of that lap.
And we're talking about picks for this type of race, and we're thinking, well, at least on my end, I was thinking, it's so difficult to think of that because you need someone that can avoid incidents like that and have a luck or ton on their side, and as well, be able to keep their cool when you get turned around in a 360 just about like this right here. As you can see, it's been hard to pick up things like this because Steinmetz is now into the race lead. Oh, wow. You've seen Baslop is now on the tow truck as he was sent to the Shadow Realm, as you put it.
And now Jörg Steinmetz with a 30-second lead here over second place. Might be, though, that Job Williamson tries to play a part in this, as he is just ahead of Steinmetz. As there are two purple and black cars parked.
And those purple and gray cars, it seemed, were just waiting to try and say, you know what, let's take the race leaders. There's on the side of the track, they all missed, and now Steinmetz and Ends up getting a swing that time. Here comes Quaddackers though. 152. That car's in 13th. Looking to get one of its laps back on the racetrack. In fact, chance to get the lead lap back this time and gain a potential top 10. And he takes that chance by punting him off into the sand again.
Still a lot of time back to Hans Smekens, who is in second place behind Jörg Steinmetz. He's just about through the tight and twisty complex at the top of the track. So a lot of time. Steinmetz is already once again going on the front stretch, as there is just under 2.5 minutes to go.
And Webb, yellow in that spot. You see Steinmetz still is rolling. It's a 33-second cushion for now. And there's a hit right there as a brake check in the racing line loses some time. That's Lucas Gerrits who's sent off to the sand. Still though, 20 seconds the gap. The problem is, remember Eric Nannings, who got stuck on the tow truck a little before? He is going at 70 miles an hour up the track from your leader.
He is waiting for that opportunity to get a hit in on your team, or your leader, as his teammate gets heavily wrecked into turn 1. So Eric Nannings, that is not going to be helping your teammate right now.
Smekens has only lost a few seconds, but the help misses the corner. And now tries to take a swing, misses. Another car completely turns itself around. 34 seconds now the cushion. Under a minute and a half on the clock. Here's a look at Smekens specifically with that significant damage, and he punts another car in good measure as well. Slav is still in P3 in all this, by the way. So if anything was to happen to your front runners and send them off into the tow trucks, drivers might be able to jump up. Smekens just got spun. Your leader just got punted off by 3 cars in the final corner, coming towards the final minute. He's still getting punted around. That's Williamson trying to hold him up. Steinmetz gets rolling again. 3 more spin in front of him, as under a minute to go on the clock as everyone's trying to get going across the track.
Yeah, the good thing is for Steinmetz, he has Mathiasen right behind him. That's his teammate. So he has a little bit of escort now to his car, but here now comes once again Paul Muller in the black and red car.
The question's going to be, will we get the white or the checkered by the time we get around? Because, well, stuff like this is going to help him make it the final lap. Quick turn around and still needs to hold on. It's not going to help, though. The cars wanting to play with him are taking short cuts. Hello! That's the 071 who cuts across the track, and some more motor damage now. And the interesting thing is, if Steinmetz gets a meatball flag here, Stefan, and doesn't serve it at the checkered, he risks a potential DQ. So this could be intriguing, as he's now gotten to the last lap signal as the clock is now at 0 and another car trying to take the hill to launch. Williamson, believe, is waiting on the wings to try and take the leader. Slav is now in second. Here comes the teammate, the team recycling car. Off into the grass, off and clear as Steinmetz without his front end, moving on forward for the final corner, Stefan.
And now here comes the teammate of Steinmetz, Juri Mathiasen, to try and take out Nick Thyssen here. And he is gonna make that happen, although he only slowed him down, so it still might be something here for Steinmetz.
It's been a wild 45 minutes, and now he has an escort. A whole roadblock. He gets around the roadblock. Couple more cars waiting for him at the finish line. Will he be able to take the checkered? 2 cars in the middle of the track. He dodges them. He'll take the checkered flag and wins the GoT Demolition Derby of 2020. Sapp in second, still by about 37 seconds or so. Van Handel, Neil specifically, is in third for now. The question is, who actually does finish here? Remember, Slav got into second, and now Sapp without his front end is trying to finish this race. Looking like without the front nose, though, he might have to try and come in for the pit stop and hold on to a spot so his race position is official. If you, as a driver, say with that blown motor, cross the line here, Stefan, you're moved to the last car on your specific lap if you have to serve a black.
Since did do the reasonable thing, he went through the pit line, so he's gonna take P2 here, as Bob Stevens gonna take home third.
Yes, indeed. So Stevens went the dangerous route. Sapp, for his efforts, sent the flipping route after his pit stop sequence. Niels Van Handel, well, his car is busted. We'll see where he'll be scored as comes across the line in fourth. Oh, wow. Blanc is trying to finish backwards. Will Blanc be able to come across the stripe on the rev limiter? He's got a friend trying to push him. And his friend becomes his foe just across the line. He still finishes with a top 5 for his efforts. So just about everyone crossed the stripe now. Only 9 drivers in the end, Stefan, finished on the lead lap. Slob was among the last of them. In fact, was the last man overall to cross the stripe officially. He had so many incidents in the last lap, Stefan. He was the first car a lap down, and you can see with flips like that why.
Yeah, most definitely. And he actually, if our scoring is correct, 106 incident points for Bastrop.
Only one driver didn't finish with incident points. That was Hausmann's. The leader, 190. Find out the answer of who that person was in a few moments. Post-race coverage of today's Demolition Derby coming up. You're watching Global SimRacing Channel for Summit Point. Welcome back to Summit Point, where everyone had some fun today in the gathering of Tweakers Demolition Derby. The 2020 edition's seen everything from cars sent to the pit wall, cars going to grandma's house to get cookies, to cars being sent up to the sky. But in the end, one team, Best Racing Friends Oweno, took the checker flag. That is Steinmetz, who won by 58 seconds, had 3 total pit stops in the race, and took home the victory. Bob Stevens came home in second after 5 stops, while Niels Van Handel, one of the few drivers in double-digit stops, finished in 3rd position on the board. Bob Blanc finished in 4th with 6 stops, with Motors in 5th. Only one other car finished on the lead lap, that's Sap. And despite his best efforts, Swab finishes in 7th after, well, getting bumped and banged off the track several dozen times in the span of the last lap. Land finishes in 8th with Smeekins and Messink rounding out your top 10.
Leonard van Handel, he started in 10th place, he finished in 11th, so good race for him. He was also very close to the lead at a few points in the race, so yeah, could have gone his way, but sadly in the very end it didn't. Tobias Wessels, he was in a lot of actions here today, mostly as the rammer, finishes in 12th with Jim Hertois. He was also quite for a time in the lead, but in the very end only a 13th place for him as Lucas Gerrits. 14th, Nico van Elk. 15th, Iron Shepers. He was also very long in the lead, or in contention of the lead, but only 16th in the very end, 2 laps down for him, with 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th going to Maurice Quekadakers, Gerben Kelly, and Eric Nannings, and Nick Thyssen.
21st position, Vandergraaf, despite his best efforts, finished in 3rd, 3 laps down, rather, with Junkers trying to take that mantle, finishing 22nd instead. Koning in 23rd position, with Termeer in 24th position. 25th, Rosendahl in 25th. Williamson became the best friend to some of his teammates today by being their battering ram. And despite the fact he used the bumper several hundred times, ends up still finishing 26th overall. His team doesn't win the checkered flag to take home with them. Elsinore finishes 27th, Schipphauer in 28th, then it's Geert in 29th. Rob Vandenbrink rounds out your top 37 laps down today, Stefan.
Yeah, and a lot of cars are now quite a few laps down here, with Vincent Robinson in 31st, Michael Lohrmans in 32nd, Jörn Messink. He was also quite a few torpedo in incidents. He finished in 33rd with Emil Klopmans, 34th, Martin Seeveld, 35th, 36th went to Paul Muller. He mullered a lot of people throughout this race, with Roger Smulders in 37th, Ron Snyders 38th, Juri Mathissen 39th, and in the very end 40th went to Robert Swedam.
4 cars made the start today. Hogendorn 15 laps down, Vander Malen 17 laps down very early, Bowman 43rd, while Hausmans, well, he did put in practice times, but finished 44th overall for his respective organizations. So 44 cars. I'd like to have a little bit of fun today throughout today's festivities. An interesting one, to say the very least, and believe it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with the celebrations, because one of the drivers is getting the chance to celebrate with us because of everything we talked about with the meatball flags. Overall, on the board, the 011 is in 3rd. Across the stripe, it was 4th. Niels Van Handel now joins the broadcast booth. Crazy race from up here. How are you feeling after a crazy race it seemed from the car?
I have no idea really how to feel after all this. It was probably the most fun I've had in the last while, so that's all great. And well, at the start you think about a strategy, and that all went out of the window in lap 1. So
yeah, I was going to say, with a fun race like this, how do you plan things out to try and be the man who wins? Do you just turn off your brain, or do you put some thought into it? What was your team's philosophy today?
now we just try to lap as quick as possible, because that's what counts in the end. But it was really hard to find a good balance between lapping quickly and getting through traffic efficiently. Because everyone you're trying to pass is a potential hazard, of course. So in the end, it's also a bit of luck, and hopefully having enough friends here in the race that don't want to crash you out.
Yeah, it looked like a lot today. Want to hear your thoughts on this, that there was a lot of friends who looked like, okay, I'm going to be calm, and then we're like, you know what, I'm just going to floor you into the grass. How difficult was it to try and guess what some of your friends and teammates and rivals would do whenever you were around them?
It was impossible. A lot of friendships have been broken, I think, not only with me, with a lot of people. Can't trust anyone anymore.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
No, no, no. I'm joking. This is all in good jest, of course.
Of course. But of course, brand new build coming up, a good chance to let out some steam. How are you and the rest of the gathering of tweakers feeling about the upcoming 2020 season 4 campaign?
I think good. Last season was my first season that I participated in the league, so I don't really know like how it was before that. But I think that the whole league has been growing quite good the last season, and as I heard from others, everyone was really excited about the participation numbers. And next season we're going to drive the Indy PM18 car, so hopefully we can continue that and start with good full fields.
Indeed, anyone you want to thank before I let you go, or anyone you want to mention before you go?
Yeah, I want to apologize to Lucas, my teammate, because I crashed someone out on the. He took the first place right at the start, but I crashed someone else out right into him on the first corner. So sorry, Lucas.
Congratulations on the decent finish today. Congratulations. You also had one of the most. You were the only driver inside the lead lap cars to finish with double-digit pit stops. Congrats.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that even. So.
Yep, 10 times you came in. Everybody else had inside the lead lap 8 or less. Niels Van
Okay.
Handel.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the problem then. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Niels Van Handel coming away with a decent finish today. Your race winner is Steinmetz.
Hey.
Hey, indeed. How are
Good
you
evening.
feeling about the victory?
Oh, it's great. Great feeling. Unexpected.
First things first, an interesting race today. What were your thoughts through the car throughout the race, seeing, well, everything catch on fire?
The car was great, but sometimes a bit broken, but it was all fine. So I could drive yeah, steady and yeah, no big toes. I think that was the key to win this.
A lot of teams elected to have fun today. What was the process like for you and your team choosing your name for this respective event today?
Well, we just started in the race, and we will see what will happen. So we didn't have a great strategy. But it was, after one lap, I think it was clear that I was the one who was driving for as long as possible in the front, and the other two, Yuri and Emil, they had to clear the field for me, and they did a great job.
Seemed like it absolutely. Of course, GoT, the main tagline is serious iRacing with a smile.
Yes,
Do you
that's
have
for sure.
But this type of event, how much does it put a smile on your face to win something like this and know that all your drivers are having fun and trying to, well, take out their frustrations or maybe their stress out by ramming a bunch of cars off the track?
Normally in races, then you blame someone that they hit you, but in this case, it's the game, and we can smash each other now, so that's a great feeling, and it's a big smile on our face, I think.
Real quick question. Want to ask about the name because everyone chose respective groups. A lot of them went with fun names. Talk us through your team's name. Best Racing Friends. I know is your specific name
Yes.
that takes the checkered.
Yes, we just did last summer. We did 24 from Le Mans, and we didn't race before in a team, so just we came together then, and after that event, we thought we need a name, and it was just Best Racing Friends. So someone called that, and we thought, why not? So Best Racing Friends Team 1.
Yes, indeed. Who would you like to thank for you and your best friends getting the chance to celebrate?
Yeah, the team did a great job. So it was their task to stop everyone, and they did it.
Congratulations on the victory today in today's fun.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Harry Steinmetz coming away with the checker flag today. I'd like to thank him as well as one of our top finishers today in Niels Van Handel for joining us here in the GSRC broadcast booth. Stefan, your thoughts after it was a unique event today with this Demolition Derby? It was definitely at least a very fun one and a different experience to try and call from the normal realm you'd see.
Yeah, most definitely, but that's what Demo Tours are about. It's about the fun, not only for the drivers, but also for the viewers and the commentators in this case. So I can't say that I don't think that anybody was disappointed by the showing of these guys. We came with an expectance into this race, and I don't think that anybody did get disappointed because it was a great show, it was a fun show, and most definitely it was worth its while.
I'd also like to thank you, the fans, as well, by the way, for tuning in for today's exciting Demolition Derby extravaganza. There's a reason drivers like to have fun when it comes to Week 13 and Week 14 action. You've seen right here, sometimes drivers need to let a little loose and be able to have fun once in a while. If it's all fun or no fun in all games, eventually you'll need some place to have some fun. We just seen that today for some of these competitors. I'd also like to take the time to thank the Tweakers community for organizing this event today. To learn more about the gathering of Tweakers on iRacing, which has been around since 2016, go to tweakers.net. That's TWEAKERS.net. I'd like to ask, are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. Follow the link in the description to learn more about the Global SimRacing Channel. Take this time to thank the companies who provide the software and hardware for a broadcast listed up on screen, with additional thanks going to Jude Long, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of our great work. To say thanks to the team today once again is Stefan and Sean. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check the merchandise for sale at gsrc.storeview1.com. Or you can check the merchandise or our social media rather on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, or in Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button so you don't miss a moment here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We also have many upcoming races for other series listed up on your screen, including many coming up throughout the Week 14 festivities with the brand new iRacing build. Be sure to check those out and mark them down your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, see you on the track.